And the human brain. The brain is a huge energy consumer. It doesn't like change and prefers instant gratification over waiting over time for something. The brain is lazy and needs discipline if we want something to change, and that is the way to cultivating a Kazian mind. The team is the thing. Teams are the best approach when facing complex environments and situations. Teams should be small, 4 to 12 people, cross-functional, all necessary skills and knowledge should be present, self-organized, feature-driven, products and service-driven instead of technology-driven, giving the team maximum flexibility, and collaborating, engaging and working on a problem at the same time. Team identity is a third entity that is independent of team members and shapes their behavior when they are in a team context. Several factors that contribute to team identity are noble cause and purpose, shared values, cultural artifacts, behavioral artifacts, and physical artifacts. The environment is important in fostering the team identity because when the team has a common space than just individual cubicles, they can collaborate with each other and let their identity grow. From zero to hero. A good metaphor for this is the gardener's metaphor. Select seeding, hiring, prepare soil, environment, nurture plant, training and motivating, guide while growing, mentorship and coaching, protect from bugs, support and removing impediments, prune bad branches, firing or changing members. Another good framework is Tuckman's 4-stage model. Forming, storming, norming, and performing. In Tuckman's model, it assumes principles not well understood by agile wannabe companies. Self-organization. Agile team must be self-organized. A good, productive self-organization depends on 3 factors. Alignment, clear set of goals that benefit the company and team that each understands and agrees to. Boundaries, small set of rules that allow freedom to pursue the defined goals. And progressive delegation, offered freedom like their maturity level asks for. Problems in agile teams. Things that give agile teams problems are absence of trust, no results, no conflicts, too much conflict, too much management, no leadership, wrong characters, wrong culture, individualistic approach, bad environment, specialization, absence of facilitation, no knowledge sharing, lack of skills, no time for team, and no clear purpose. These problems tend not to allow the team to pass the storming stage. Conflict. Conflict has become a bad word in corporate environments. It is usually seen as a high level that has gone out of control. There is a model that shows the 5 levels of conflict intensity. Level 1 is problem solving, information sharing, and collaboration. Language is open and fact-based. Level 2, disagreement. Personal protection starts being important. Language is more careful. Level 3, contest. Winning is more important than solving. Language turns personal. Level 4, crusade. Protect your group or idea. Language is ideology. Level 5, world war. Destroy others. Little or no language is being exchanged. There's also another aspect of conflict. That's the emotional conflict. This aspect is perceived by our primitive brain as an aggression or threat. Consensus. Consensus means that the team agrees on trying some given option even if some people are not fully convinced. A facilitator must make sure that everyone understands the other's points of view. A good way to come to a consensus is by using the thumbs up test. If there are no thumbs down, the team can move on. But if there are any thumbs down, several questions can be asked to facilitate the decision. Team facilitation. Teams may find themselves facing failure mode during the storming and norming stages. To reduce the risk of this, facilitation may be needed. Facilitators listen to what is being discussed and help the team come to consensus. They should be detached from the project and concerned about the long term instead of the short term. They help the team by teaching them how to identify and remove impediments by themselves. Team facilitation. Teams may find themselves facing failure mode during the storming and norming stages. To reduce this risk, facilitation may be needed. Facilitators listen to what is being discussed and help the team find consensus. They should be detached from the project and concerned about the long term of the project. They help the team by teaching them how to identify and remove impediments by themselves, and also act on individual basis as a personal coach. Starting with the purpose. The purpose needs to be for the customer and not the company. When the customer is the purpose, things can be improved on with what is important to them. Making the customer happy ensures that they will come back to your company. Defining your process. The use of standards. Standards are meant to be guidelines to how something is done. They should be written down and visible for everyone to see. When people deviate from the standards, things cannot be improved on because everyone is doing their own thing and they cannot see where things could be going wrong. Go and see. Visual management is important in lean implementations. Having a visual board can help a team see where they are and what may need to be improved. Spreadsheets can manipulate to look like things are going well, but the only true way to know what is actually going on is to get on the floor and observe what is happening. If electronic tools are to be used, they should be used as add-ons to the visual tools. Mapping value stream. The goal of mapping value stream is to map the set of activities from the customer's order to the delivered product and ways to optimize the sequence. When mapping, you would start at the product delivery and work back to when the customer ordered it. On the map, each visualizing the value stream. The value stream should be pictured and published along with the amount of work being performed. Visualizing the visual stream helps you see where the most urgent problems are. Backlogs are waste. Backlogs are information, orders, requests, and features. A compelling statement in lean ecosystems is inventory is waste. It means that inventories may be a sign of business to be done, but it's too big for what companies can actually do to make money. Big backlogs can mean bad things. An increase of lead time, a sign of busyness, more time invested in managing backlogs, and harder to predict and commit to specific results.
Variation is waste. The perfect lean state does not exist. It's a state that is unattainable. Although it is considered unattainable, the Kaizen way gets relatively close to the perfect lean state, but it goes one step further. Fluctuation in demand introduces waste. For example, if too many orders arrive, lead time increases, which is considered a waste. Elevating production capacity and dropping orders results in too much spare resources, also considered a waste. Reducing variability. It is extremely difficult to maintain a stable flow of work. Lean companies have incorporated the Heijunka devices. This Heijunka method helps companies react to demand changes and ensures that they make use of their capacity as best as they can. It helps process orders according to customer demand and not in batches. A popular and successful company that uses the Heijunka device method is Toyota. Toyota has eliminated working in batches, and instead, car assembly in the production line is scheduled according to demand. Context switching is also known as multitasking. It is very usual in knowledge management environments. Context switching involves switching from one task to another. Why does context switching take place? To meet customer priorities, because of reprioritization from managerial levels, or due to the inability of workers to properly manage their time. Context switching continued. The term was discovered by Gerald Weinberg in the 1990s. He discovered that our brains are not made to multitask, although we tend to think we are good at it. Switching from one task to another results in loss of brain capacity. The attached graph shows what context switching does. As you can see, it shows the amount of time lost by context switching between a set number of projects. The more projects you switch through, the less time you actually spent working on them. Many jobs require you to multitask without knowing the truth behind what actually occurs. An example of a job is a paralegal at a law firm. A paralegal at a law firm, for the most part, will never just focus on one task and get to finish it through. While working on a specific task, the attorney may ask for something else to get done immediately and require that paralegal to stop what she or he were doing and begin working on the other task. Steps to eliminate bottlenecks. Once the bottlenecks are identified, a three-sequential step process can be followed in order to eliminate them. The first step is exploit. In this step, you make sure that the bottleneck link is running at its full capacity. Identify interruptions, variability sources, or inefficiencies affecting the process. Low priority tasks can be done in other parts of the system should also be eliminated. The second step is a subordinate. In this step, the bottleneck process should be running smoothly and efficiently, making the whole system run at the same pace as the process. The final step is elevate. It can only be reached once you are sure that the process is really efficient, that the whole system is running out of space, and that there's no spare capacity anywhere. Resources can be added to the bottleneck in order to increase the overall system performance and capacity. Understanding problem causes. One of the most crucial steps in waste and bottleneck removal is to be able to identify the root causes of the problems. Sometimes companies focus on improving the symptoms, for example, being late or an angry customer. They come up with a plan to make production go faster or make the customer content. However, they fail to acknowledge the causes. Identifying causes is not as simple as Toyota's 5 Why strategy. This approach is another way to better understand problem causes. Toyota advises their people to ask why at least 5 times to get closer to the root cause of the problem. For simple problems, asking yourself why would most likely be expanded to one direction. However, complex problems will probably expand into different directions as there is not just one single root cause. A great way of tracking different directions is by using a fishbone diagram. You start with a quick question or problem, and then divide the causes into different domains to be explored. Some critique the 5 why strategy because it can be perceived as an accusation or a blame game. However, that should never be the issue. Sometimes it helps switching the why to a how. Process is not the whole story. Think about a product that nobody wants. There's a big possibility that the teams creating those products are the most agile teams ever. However, just because the process and team is perfect does not mean that this is a successful product. It is extremely important to include a product perspective in the Kaizen culture to ensure company survival. Product perspective is not only about the product itself, it also incorporates ways to reach your clients and how to manage your value proposition. Another area of improvement is customer support. Customer support is not part of the Agile method. It is actually considered waste under a lean perspective. However, it is one of the most valuable factors clients assess when choosing between different suppliers. Customer support most likely does not use an Agile method. Starting with a vision. It is important to know your product, as this way you can determine who your clients are. It all starts with a vision. The vision is a statement that declares what the company is going to be about. The vision should be clear and memorable. It should not be full of buzzwords or corporate gibberish. It should be about the customer. There shouldn't be too many visions, as this can become problematic and contradictory. Product space versus problem space. What is problem space? Problem space is when information is provided on a problem that should be solved, yet there's no commitment on any given solution. The solution is left to the product management team to figure out. The textbook provides with an example: JFK urging NASA to place a man on the moon and bring him back alive before the end of the decade. However, he never described to them how it would be done. What is product space? Product space is just focusing on the product. However, this can cause terrible mistakes. For example, clients tend to approach you with, "I came to you because I want this product," instead of, "I came to you because I have this problem." They sometimes think that the product they need will solve their problem when it would actually not. If we knew what their problem was, we may direct them to the correct product and not the one they think. A perfect example of product space versus problem space is that of the American railroad industry. They lost their clients because of their value proposition was made around the product, which were the trains, and not the transportation, which were the problem. If their clients would have been proposed with the problem, they would have most likely invested in the industry. The client is also part of the team. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation is one of the most powerful and valuable, yet most neglected principles of Agile Manifesto. Customers are not the enemy. They can bring common understanding of the challenges and problems with the product. Some common obstacles to team customer collaboration are lack of trust or transparency. Here, the company thinks customers will become informed of any bad practice the team may have. In us versus them syndrome, the team does not want to deal with a bad or tyrannical customer. They'd rather be comfortable during the production process than having to answer to a difficult client. With no real customer, lack of customer involvement, the customer has a representative who is not concerned or involved in the project's success. Lack of focus means the customer representative is too busy to take part in the collaboration, or the customer does not find real value in the collaboration. Lack of customer skills. Here, the customer just lacks skills needed for teamwork. However, there are some all-purpose actions that you should implement in order to enhance customer collaboration. The first one being establish common collaboration framework. By establishing a common collaboration framework, you will have from the very beginning a description of the Agile development process, along with what the shared responsibilities are, what the customer's representative role is, how changes should be managed, and how to deal with conflicts and reach agreements. It is also important to make sure everyone understands the framework at the beginning of the project. Provide training and support to your client to ensure understanding. The team should demand good representation, having a single contact point for prioritization and clarification from the client's side. It's also important not to overlook soft skills. Everyone in the team should be trained in nonviolent communication and be able to deal with conflict properly before speaking with a client. Finally, follow up. Following up daily with your customer increases chance of success. Knowing your client is knowing your product. Just because you have a successful product doesn't mean that you should never change it or look for ways to better the product or keep up with changing times. Markets change, technology changes, customers change, and problems change. Your customer problem solution should always be worked on and not static. In order to improve how your team understands your customer problem solution statements, there are several activities and tools you can use. The first is impact mapping. It starts with the vision and purpose of what you are analyzing. It allows you to figure out who can help you achieve your goals, who will stop you from doing so, what they can do to help or stop, and how they can actually help or stop, and what they can do about it. The second is story mapping. Story mapping assists development teams in learning more about the proposed journey of their customers while using the product. Third is user journey and user personas. This involves using fictional characters the team builds. It is followed up by interviews of real customers
that should match such personas that were created. This allows for insights on how to better solve customer needs. The fourth is empathy maps. Empathy maps involves looking for a deeper understanding of stakeholders in the business ecosystem by analyzing what they think, feel, say, and do. The fifth is Inception Desk. Here, use tools and techniques that create better awareness of goals of the product, the purpose, who the customers are, what the product is and is not about. Obtaining client feedback, MVPs and MVEs. Validation through experiments might take the form of a minimum viable experiment, MVE, or in lean startup literature, minimum viable product, MVP. The main goal of both techniques is to create an experience and learn from the customer's feedback about it. Both techniques are minimum, fast, and expensive and aimed at learning, not launching. Minimum viable products assist in obtaining customer currency and validated learning. Usually the MVP is a product built with the minimum feature scope at the minimum cost possible. Minimum viable experiment, MVE, validates our assumptions and assists in learning about our customer, his problem, the solution, and the viable business model that you can scale later. MVE should be performed in very fast cycles, sometimes several times a day, and that they should be as inexpensive as possible. Lean Analytics. Lean Analytics is about being able to set the right amount of metrics that drive your product management investment in order to produce the maximum results. These metrics are goals to be reached and are just learning tools. Any development effort is an attempt to influence one of the key metrics or key performance indicators. A wrong set of metrics or focusing too much on metrics and forgetting that they are used to pursue some business goal is not good. It can put the whole company at risk. In making a company more successful, it is imperative to improve market funnel. Here the metrics must hurt. Market funnel is defined as how customers reach a company and end up buying their product. However, the definition of market funnel depends on the specific product, marketing business model of a company. You can improve market funnel by identifying the biggest bottleneck in the market's funnel. Value-driven prioritization. It is key to delivering the most value as soon as possible. It requires launching something in the market no matter how simple it is. This reduces risk and it also creates a chance to cut the project short and launch earlier if there's more value on it. Agile companies should define and improve a prioritization framework to be used when including new items or modifying the product backlog in any form. The prioritization framework maximizes value, and it also provides a rational link between the development process, the product roadmap, and the company's strategy towards improving market success.